Hey, good morning, everyone. It's 9 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the webinar Targeting Water Affordability Challenges with Customer Assistance Programs. My name is Corinne Buckley. I'm a planner in the Environment and Development Department of the North Central Texas Council of Governments, or NCTCOG, and I will be moderating today's webinar. This webinar is hosted by NCTCOG and funded by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency through the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. So a bit of background on what NCTCOG is. We are a voluntary association of by and for local governments, and we exist to address regional planning needs present within our 16 county jurisdiction. NCTCOG is one of 24 regional councils in Texas, and as part of NCTCOG's water quality management planning work, we host webinars on water quality topics every quarter. So if you do have any ideas for future topics for these webinars, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is there on the screen. It's cbuckley@nctcog.org. So at this time, I'm going to go over a couple housekeeping items. Today's webinar is scheduled to last until 10:30. We're going to hear 4 presentations, and then there will be some time for questions at the end, and I will share instructions on how to submit questions when we get to that point. The presentation slides and recording from this webinar will be posted under the green banner called Webinars on NCTCOG's website, and I will drop that link in the chat now so you have it. Follow-up emails about today's webinar will be sent to all those who registered. If you did not register and you would like to receive those follow-up emails, you can email me at cbuckley@nctcog.org, which I will also drop in the chat for you. I do want to remind you to please keep your microphone on mute when you're not sharing or asking a question to help eliminate distractions. So today we'll be hearing from Erica DePalma, who will present Addressing Unaffordable Water Bills Across the Nation, Corey Burns, who will share with us Operation Watershare, Medria Bruhow, who will present City of Arlington Water Utilities Care and Share Program, and finally, Dean Van Horn, who will share customer assistance. So I'd now like to introduce our first speaker. Erica DePalma is a program manager at the U.S. Water Alliance, a national nonprofit organization advancing policies and programs that build a sustainable water future for all. She works on the Alliance's Equitable Water Future Initiative. Erica is passionate about water equity and affordability. Prior to joining the Alliance, Erica worked at the Water Center at the University of Pennsylvania, where she supported the management of national and regional water programming and research. She worked closely and collaborated with stakeholders from water utilities to community leaders to educators to develop and implement impactful solutions to urban water challenges. Erica graduated with a master's in applied geosciences with a focus in hydrology from the University of Pennsylvania, and a bachelor's in environmental science from Fordham University. And Erica, I will hand it over to you to begin your presentation.
Thanks so much, Corinne. Great to be here with you all. As Corinne shared, my name is Erica DePalma, and I'm currently a program manager with the U.S. Water Alliance. First, I'd like to start by sharing a bit about the U.S. Water Alliance, who we are and what we do. The U.S. Water Alliance is a cross-sector membership organization that advances a one water future for all. We educate the nation on the true value of water. We initiate new approaches and solutions to our most pressing water challenges. We accelerate the adoption and scaling of the One Water approach. And finally, we celebrate what works and we aim to spread innovation. Next slide, please. Water service affordability is an issue felt keenly by residents and water managers alike. In the last 6 years, according to our 2024 Value of Water Campaign Water Index, the percentage of voters who find their water service unaffordable has more than doubled from 13% in 2017 to 30% in 2024. And achieving affordable and safe water and wastewater services is truly a collaborative effort, as water bills must be considered in tandem with costs of other essential needs, and water utilities do need consistent funding to ensure high quality services. From individuals to the federal government, we all have roles to play. I'll also note that affordability isn't achieved through one program or often one assistance approach. If done well, it's built layer by layer, and all that goes into delivering water and wastewater services. Next slide, please. There's no question that when all residents have access to clean water and wastewater services, the entire community thrives. Clean water is essential for hygiene, hydration, and supports so many essential needs that we rely on daily. Next slide, please. So what is water affordability? At the Alliance, we believe that when water is affordable, all residents can pay for water and wastewater services without having to forgo or cut back on other necessary expenses, and that the utility can cover costs to meet their community's essential needs. When water is affordable, the cost of water systems are distributed equitably across society. The cost is never a barrier to accessing clean, reliable services. Low-income households are not at risk of having their water shut off. Local, state, and federal interventions are implemented to understand and meet a community's essential needs. And again, all residents can pay, and therefore the utility has enough revenue to ensure water infrastructure is efficient, safe, and resilient. Next slide, please. In contrast, water assistance usually involves temporarily reducing bills and/or relieving debt for low-income households that meet a defined eligibility criterion and apply for support. Assistance, often in the form of customer assistance programs, is just one piece of addressing the burden that high water bills can pose on a community. Assistance often comes in the form of bill discounts, rate restructuring, payment plans, emergency funds, debt forgiveness, leak repair support, a disconnection policy, and more. Assistance is often a necessary stopgap for low-income households struggling to pay their water bills, but it's rarely sufficient unless assistance leads to affordability as defined previously. Next slide, please. At the Alliance, we facilitate a network of water leaders who are committed to learning about and advancing water equity, many of whom have prioritized advancing water affordability in their communities. The Water Equity Network includes anchor water and wastewater utilities, community-based organizations, resident leaders, environmental justice advocates, philanthropic partners, and more. Teams collaborate to learn about water equity, identify priorities and opportunities, take action locally, and share best practices nationally. Next slide, please. For the network and beyond, it's important to share the same language. So I'm going to briefly share out our definition of water equity that grounds us in this work. We define water equity as just and fair inclusion, a condition in which everyone has the opportunity to participate and prosper. Water equity occurs when all communities have access to safe, clean, affordable drinking water and wastewater services, are resilient in the face of floods, drought, and other climate risks, have a role in decision-making processes related to water management in their communities, and share in the economic, social, and environmental benefits of water systems. Next slide, please. So how do our members put this definition into practice? The Water Equity Network is making strides towards ensuring an equitable water future. Collectively, members advance the 3 pillars of water equity, the first of which is embodying affordable water. For the Alliance, we believe that water equity occurs when all communities and households play a role, again, in the decision-making processes related to water management, and have access to safe, clean, affordable drinking water and wastewater services, share in the economic, social, and environmental benefits of water systems, and are resilient in the face of floods, drought, and other climate risks. Next slide, please. One benefit for WEN members is to engage in a topical action task force. These task forces are composed of place-based community and utility leaders who are working together to understand their current realities, challenges, and goals, and eventually to implement solutions on a specific topic. I facilitate the task force on water affordability. We have 2 other task forces on workforce development and racial equity for authentic community partnerships. Next slide, please. There are currently 5 community teams who are currently participating in the Affordability Task Force: Bloomington, Minnesota, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Columbus, Ohio, Portland, Oregon, and St. Paul, Minnesota. Each community team is anchored by the local water utility in partnership with between 1 and 3 local community organizations. These organizations are trusted by the community and offer an imperative perspective when trying to understand local affordability challenges. Next slide, please. Each community team is currently exploring these topics. The first being understanding community needs. This involves understanding the cost of all essential needs and assessing and delineating what is affordable for their local community instead of relying on federal metrics. And the second being utility operations and finances. This involves community teams identifying and reflecting on what operational efficiencies can support lowering utility costs and thus more sustainable rates in the long term. This piece also involves ensuring that community leaders understand the scale of investment needed to run water systems. The last topical piece is addressing customer debt and designing rates for long-term affordability. Elevating alleviating customer debt and equitable rate designs are two key tactics to achieve affordable bills for low-income residents. The connection between alleviating customer debt and structuring water utility rates lies in the balance between affordability, revenue stability, and encouraging timely payments, which ultimately affects the utility's financial health and ability to invest in infrastructure and services. Ultimately, the teams will choose a path. They'll choose a plan to develop or a program to initiate to address their local affordability challenges. Next slide, please. I just want to offer a couple examples of the type of assessments these community teams have been doing. One example is assessing the ability to pay in a way that goes beyond what EPA defines as affordable, which, if you're unfamiliar, is if water and sewer bills are greater than 4.5% of households' monthly income, which is then considered unaffordable. Researchers and practitioners alike in this space know that a blanket percentage of income will not work to truly assess whether a bill is affordable, especially for residents in the 20th income percentile of a community. So we look at other metrics. Manny Teodoro, a professor out of the University of Wisconsin, established a metric that looks at how many hours of minimum wage does it take to pay for water and sewer bills. He determined that if it takes more than 8 hours per month, it's considered unaffordable. Currently, the national average is 11 hours. Here you can see for Columbus, Ohio, it would take a resident 22 hours of work at minimum wage per month to pay for their water and sewer bill. Next slide, please. Oh, and you can keep clicking just to get all this on the screen. Thanks so much. Portland, Oregon took it a step further. When community teams are working to understand community needs, a necessary piece was to acknowledge that affordable water bills cannot be considered in a silo. If a household is struggling to pay for water, their lived reality often results in having to choose between water and other essential needs. Portland calculated how many hours of minimum wage is needed to pay for all essential needs. Here you can see it would take a resident or household relying on minimum wage about 416 hours of work, so over a month, or about 52 full-time days to cover a month's worth of essential needs. Here you can clearly see that choices would have to be made. Next slide, please. So I just want to reiterate, I missed a slide here, but I just want to reiterate that, again, when water is affordable, the entire community benefits and thrives. Communities within the Water Equity Network are committed to understanding the extent to which water bills are unaffordable and developing solutions to address such. The Alliance will develop resources to share some of the learnings that the WEN members that I just shared who are engaging the task force are developing, so keep an eye out for those. I'll share those. But before I wrap up, I just want to talk about some work that we're doing in Texas specifically. Texas has great One Water leaders and exemplary One Water projects. In addition to highlighting some of the efforts in the state, I'll also share some resources and opportunities to help you plug into the One Water movement, along with a few next steps for anyone who's interested. While this slide is not a comprehensive list of all One Water programs in the state, it does showcase that One Water is not limited to a specific geography, challenge, approach, or scale. We're seeing regional One Water network building in the Texas Hill Country, spearheaded by the Hill Country Alliance, National Wildlife Federation, and Meadow Center for the Environment. We're seeing a One Water approach actively being put into practice in Austin through the creation and now implementation of Austin's One Water Forward Plan, their integrated 100-year water resource plan. This includes a community-driven equity and affordability roadmap to help guide this work. So I believe you can access that roadmap as well online. A few other examples are shared within this slide as well. Texas has a chance to really lead the nation in this work. Our mission is a sustainable One Water future for all, and in service to that and in support of champions in Texas, we facilitate a space for leaders in Texas to connect via quarterly gatherings. Next slide, please. And my final slide. The Texas One Water next quarterly gathering is April 17th at 1 p.m. Central. Please take a photo of the QR code on the screen if you'd like to join the Texas One Water mailing list and complete the form. We're also building a Texas One Water delegation for our upcoming One Water Summit this year. If you're interested in learning more, write into the other category on that form. It's the last question on the form, what you're interested in learning more about. And we will follow up with more information. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Erica. That was very informative. We'll now move on to our next presentation from Corey Burns. So, with over 20 years of diverse experience in city services, law enforcement, logistics, customer service, and human resources, Corey Burns has developed a robust professional background that highlights his exceptional supervisory skills and his ability to effectively assess organizational needs. So, in his current role as credit service and special collections manager with the City of Dallas, Corey leads teams, develops strategic initiatives, and ensures that their services align with community needs. Corey also has expertise in Lean Six Sigma methodologies, as well as proficiency in a variety of systems and programs that have contributed to his ability to manage operations and ensure customer satisfaction. Throughout his career, Corey has maintained a steadfast commitment to excellence and a passion for serving the community. Um, so, Corey, I will transition over to you to begin your presentation.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Corey Burns, City of Dallas Water Utilities, and I'll be speaking about Operation Water Share. You can click to the next slide, please. Since 1993, Dallas Water Utility Operations Water Share has made a difference in the lives of families who's temporarily unable to pay their water bill. It's a program that's operated and ran by DWU, which is Dallas Water Utility, and administered by the Housing Department. The program actually helps families that are in need of help to pay their water bills. It's basically um, donations that other customers make that makes up our Operation Water Share. And the donations that they make, they can make them while paying their bill, a slip in the invoices. That's how they pay to Operation Water Share. You can click to the next slide, please. The Operation Water Share is broken up into three agencies, and it's basically it's break up in kind of like neighborhoods. Martin Luther King Community Center is one of the Operation Water Share agencies that you can walk in, and they can give you details on what you need to do to qualify to get funding for your water bill. Then we have Senior Citizen Service. That's another location that they can also walk in and get information on Operation Water Share and how they can get help with their water bill. Then we have West Dallas Multipurpose Center. They can also walk into there and ask for help as long as they meet the qualifications. Please go to the next slide. So the screening process is this. If a person bill is behind and they're reaching out, sometimes they call water customer service. That could be 311 or that could be credit service, or they could come in person in the lobby. What we do, we try to offer this to anyone that actually comes up that needs help. Understand that it has qualifications that they had to meet, but we still offer it to them because you just never know what a person can do for them. Usually, when they asked us, we got a list of our resources. We give them a list of the resources. We let them know, we don't really the water department. We don't actually we're not the deciding factor if they receive it or not because they have an application screening process that each of the agencies have guidelines that they abide by. So what we do as far as the water department, when they asked us, hey, can we see their past bill history? We provide them with their billing history, their payments, any information that they need for their application. We provide that in the credit service department. So we have an email that we converse with all three agencies. In that email, they'll say, "Hey, this person is applying for a pledge," and we gather the information, send it back, and then they let us know if it's okay to give them a pledge or not. So when they do agree to a pledge and the person meet all the application guidelines, us in credit service at the water department, what we do is we make notes on the account that, hey, just say Martin Luther King Community Center, they donated $100 to this customer's account. So with that being said, credit service department, we will take that email, make notes in the system, place a 30-day dunning hold on this account. When we place a 30-day dunning hold on this account, that doesn't accumulate any late fees. They don't have any risk of being cut off. In the agency, actually have 30 days to make that payment. However, we have that money sitting in an account that we transfer over to that to that account to make that donation. So with that being said, we still try to make payment arrangements with the customer. We still try to help them. I know our Operation Water Share, the limit that they give people, is really no more than $100, $150. And a lot of residents in Dallas bills are over $100, over $200. So it helps, but it doesn't like solve the complete problem when someone is past due. If you want to go to the next slide. So when we Operation Water Share can only be used for residential accounts. So you can't have a commercial account, a stormwater account, or any other, account with the city of Dallas. It's got to be strictly water account. And it only pays for water. It doesn't. I know we have sanitation charges on our bill, but it doesn't relate to sanitation charges. It's strictly water. And in order to receive it as well, you have to have a termination notice. So you have to be in the process of being cut off to receive the funds. And when you do receive the funds, it's only one time a year. So it's not like that you can apply every month or every quarter. It's once a month. We do that once a month just to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to apply for Operation Water Sharing. If they do get granted the payment, the more the merry. We're currently working on a project to try to help more people now. With these donations that we get, it's strictly based on what customers donate to us. So we really can never put a true figure because it's just how people feel in that month. If they feel like donating a little extra, hey, I got, round up to the nearest. That's how we get our funds in. This is just strictly citizens of the Dallas just donating to a cause. So we looking for ways now to help more people. Maybe not be so much one time a year. Maybe up the limit, the maximum limit to help more people, and also promote that hey, you can help people by doing this a little bit more than what it is now, so that we can try to accumulate more funds and help more people. And also with this, when we are going through the application, we try to make sure that the person that's applying for it is actually the person that's living in the house. So we go through an intense background, so we're not just giving anybody any type of money. um, and also with this pledge, it like I explained on the previous slide, it holds your account for 30 days. So it gives you 30 days to get a game plan in play, make payment arrangements with us, set up an installment plan. Our installment plans work as pay your current bill plus an additional amount, and we can spread that over 6 months, 12 months, 2 years if need to be. But we always trying to help the customer the best way we can. We know we can't, we don't have discounts on water account. So this is the best that we could do is work on them with payment plans and providing any resources that are helping people pay any type of bills. Um, Next slide, please. So, like I was speaking on the donation, the donation is from Dallas water utility customers. So when we mail out a bill, it's a slip in there. You can fill it out, send it back, make a pledge on, you don't know, or the customers don't know who's going to get the funds, anything like that. They just donating to the cause. So it's 100% driven by City of Dallas citizens. And like I say, we take these and we distribute the funds every quarter. So one quarter, if we get $4 or $5,000, we'll split that $4 or $5,000 up into the three agencies, and then whatever's left goes to the next quarter. So we do this every quarter. So it could be $5,000 one quarter, it could be $7,000. Like I say, it's fully driven by what customers donate. Um, and like I said, it's divided up, and the people that works at MLK Senior Services, West Dallas Multipurpose Center. They are the ones that drives the limitations of the applications and the guidelines for the donations. Next slide, please. Oh, I'm done. But if y'all got any questions, we're here Monday through Friday. You can come to the Dallas Water lobby. We're here to help you with Operation Water Share. The phone numbers you can call 311. They can direct you to the right people with Operation Water Share. I have the numbers listed in the slide, and if anybody else needs any information, I'm here to help you. My name is Corey Burns, and I appreciate y'all for giving me the opportunity to represent Dallas in the water department and give you information about our Operation Water Share.
Thank you, Corey. It's great information. I'm now going to introduce our next speaker. Medria Brauhau has over 28 years of experience in accounting and financial management. She has over 14 years of experience in the water and wastewater industry, primarily in rate setting, financial management, and customer care. In her current position, she's responsible for the administration of an operating budget of over $208 million and a 5-year capital budget of over $414 million. She directs a customer care team that serves over 300,000 water and wastewater customers. She's been valuable in the negotiation and implementation of several interlocal partnerships with neighboring cities and utilities. She has a record of successfully obtaining green funding and no to low interest for loans from the Texas Water Development Board for system upgrades and expansions. During her tenure, the Water Utilities Department has acquired and maintained AAA bond ratings with both Fitch and Standard & Poor's and a AA1 bond rating with Moody's. Medria has a bachelor's in accounting with a minor in business law. She also has a master's degree in accounting and finance and is a certified government finance officer. So Medria, I will hand it over to you to begin your presentation.
Good morning. Thank you. So, thank you. The city of Arlington has over 107,000 customers, of which just over 100,000 are residential customers. According to the most recent census, about 13% of the population was at or below the poverty threshold. Many of those customers struggle with meeting the day-to-day essentials like maintaining drinking water and wastewater services. In order to assist with alleviating some of the stress of paying utilities, we developed the Care and Share program to provide some financial assistance to eligible residential customers who may fall on hard times. This program has been in place for well over 20 years. Next slide, please. So there are some provisions in place to ensure the program runs effectively and efficiently. The program is available to only City of Arlington residents. Commercial customers are not eligible for assistance. They must be an Arlington Water Utilities customer, meaning that the account has to be in the name of the individual that is seeking assistance. The customer must be considered low income based upon HUD's guidelines of 80% of the citywide median income of $71,736. Excuse me. For many years, only one charity administered the program. We have since expanded, and now Arlington Water Utilities partners with 3 different charities. They're Catholic Charities, Mission Arlington, and Arlington Urban Ministries. The Care and Share program allows for eligible customers to receive assistance of up to $300 once every 12 months. We chose the $300 because we want to be able to assist as many eligible customers as possible throughout the year. In Arlington, the average residential customer's water and sewer utility bill is $74.22. And we allow our customers to go 2 months past due before they're subject to disconnection. So an eligible customer that has an average water and sewer usage can go 2 months past due, and the Care and Share program can aid them in getting back on track with their utility services by bringing their account to a zero balance. And any past due fees that may have been incurred will be covered by the Care and Share program. Now, although past due fees are covered by the program, if a customer's services are disconnected and a new or additional deposit is required, the program will not cover that. Also, if a customer receives assistance after the services have been disconnected and they request same-day reactivation, the customer needs to pay the same-day activation fee. Other fees not covered by the Care and Share program are punitive fees, such as meter lock fees, meter pool fees, and tampering fees. These are fees that would be assessed to a customer if they attempt to or actually access the services unauthorized, either before services are initially activated or after services have been disconnected for non-payment. One thing to note, as we see the cost to maintain water and sewer systems increasing, leading to higher rates, which in turn translates into higher utility bills, that $300 assistance limit will be reviewed periodically to ensure that we are still meeting the needs of our customers in need. Our Care and Share program is funded from various resources. One of them is donations. Customers have several ways to assist their neighbors in need by making donations. On the Arlington Water Utilities online account portal, customers can visit the Partnerships of Arlington tab to donate via e-check or credit card. Customers may also check the box on their payment slips when they mail in their payments to add a donation. We also have a printable charitable contribution form that customers can fill out and return to us with their payment. Another option for customers, when they stop by one of our offices to make their payment, they can ask one of our customer service reps to add a donation to their payment. Or if an individual does not have an account and they just simply want to make a donation, they can also visit with one of our customer service reps. All of our donations are also tax deductible. Any Arlington residents that are participating in jury duty with the City of Arlington also have the option to donate their compensation to the Care and Share program. In addition to donations, we also utilize non-rate revenue to assist in funding the program. We use revenue from cell tower leases, and these are leases with telecommunication companies that lease the space on top of our water towers to place or lease for cell towers. Excuse me. We also receive revenue from gas royalties for property that's owned by Arlington Water Utilities, and we also use those funds to assist in funding our Care and Share program. Our largest contribution comes from HomeServe. We have a marketing agreement with HomeServe to advertise their plumbing warranty program within the City of Arlington. And as such, HomeServe has agreed to make an annual donation of $60,000 to our Care and Share program. Next slide, please. Okay, so how does the process work? The process for providing assistance to our customers is fairly simple. When a customer visits one of the 3 charities seeking assistance, the charity will verify the residency of the customer. If they're verified if the customer is a resident of the City of Arlington. Next, the charity would then need to verify if they actually have an account with the City of Arlington Water Utilities Department. And if all of these apply, the charity should reach out to us to see if the customer has received assistance within the past 12 months. If the customer has not received assistance within the past 12 months, verification of income should occur and the application for assistance should be finalized. The charity will notify our customer care group of the pledge, and a credit of up to $300 is added to the customer's account. If the customer does not qualify for the Care and Share program for any reason, the charities that we partner with will attempt to make efforts to provide the customer with assistance. Also, we do not distribute the funds to individual charities. Arlington Water Utilities maintains custody of the funds. Next slide, please. So as you can see, over the past 3 years, we have been able to assist quite a few customers. In 2022, we assisted 843 customers with $174,000 in assistance. In 2023, we assisted 951 customers with assistance of about $195,000. However, in 2024, you see that the number of customers and the amount of assistance provided decreased. We were only able to assist 622 customers with $94,000. And so far this fiscal year, we have provided 304 customers with $39,000 in assistance. We do work diligently advertising our program to our residents. Our communications manager assists with the city's website updating regularly to ensure that the information about our program is constantly updated. We also make regular posts on various social media platforms, bringing awareness to the program. Our customer care and action center team members share information about the program when a customer may inquire about help with paying their utility bill. However, with all the public outreach, we can't reach every customer in need. And although we would like to provide financial assistance, we have limited funds. So as we continue with our entrepreneurial efforts, as our entrepreneurial efforts continue to grow, we hope to be able to contribute more to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Medria. I think we're going to save questions for the end. So I will introduce our final speaker, Dean Van Horn. So Dean is the Director of Business Performance for Texas Water Utilities, a business unit of Nexus Water Group. Dean is responsible for providing excellent customer experience by working with customer billing, payments, collections, complaint resolution, and new services. Dean is also heavily involved with all aspects of meter reading. Dean received a Bachelor of Science with a major in accounting from The Ohio State University and his master's degree in business administration with a major in executive management from Ashland University. He's also achieved his Black Belt certification in Lean Six Sigma. Dean has been with Texas Water Utilities for approximately 5 years, but has more than 26 years of experience in operations and continuous improvement, 16 of which has been in the water and wastewater utility industry in the areas of business performance and finance. He's been married for almost 12 years, and together they enjoy 5 adult children and 10 grandchildren. So, Dean, I will hand it over to you to begin your presentation.
Thank you, Corrine. So I think after seeing the first couple presentations, I want to talk briefly about Texas Water Utilities and maybe the difference between Texas Water Utilities versus the city of Dallas or the city of Arlington. So Texas Water Utilities is a privately owned water utility, water and wastewater utility. And we've got about approximately 55,000 water customers and 22,000 wastewater customers. But this customer base is across 46 counties in Texas and within about 180 what we would consider districts. So that could be anything from 100 and some customers, up to 5,000 customers. But the point being is that we're a lot more spread out, and we have multiple tariffs because through acquisitions, et cetera, over time. So our programs are not covered under one tariff. And we are also regulated by the Public Utilities Commission of Texas. So there's a regulatory process that we have to follow if it involves changing anything with our tariff. And you'll see that as I talk a little bit later about some of our challenges. If you could go to the next slide, please. So I first wanted to show our programs are very similar, and we refer to it as the Water Assist program. But what you'll see is that just over time, there's a little different nuance between each of the programs, and that then makes it a little more difficult to administer. So we have essentially what we would call water assist for both water and sewer. And then we also have elderly assist for water and sewer. And as far as eligibility, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but obviously the main difference is simply water assist is open to any of our customers who meet all the requirements. Elderly assist is specifically 265 and older, who then meet the remaining requirements. And then we've got a water assist catastrophic program. Can you go to the next slide, please? So for water assist, water and sewer, there's really 2 ways to apply. And one of the core items within our program is that we cannot self-administer. So we partner with third-party help agencies to administer our program. So the first option is if you're in the following counties listed there, then you can directly contact one of our partner agencies. And that agency will essentially go through the requirements and determine your eligibility. Now, as you can see, I mentioned that we are in 46 counties and this list only has about 11. That's one of the challenges we have, is because we are so spread out, it's difficult to have or to partner with help agencies in all the counties that we serve. So the second option is to actually, contact us directly, whether it's sending the application directly to us or calling us directly. We will then we partner with one of these agencies directly, where even though that agency is not in the majority of our counties, if a customer comes to us directly, we can then take them and share all their information and work with that agency to allow them to administer. So it does allow us to maintain that that kind of arm's length relationship so that they can still administer. But again, it's one of the challenges that we struggle with. Can you go to the next slide, please? So this is just kind of an overview of the requirements to the program. And so the household income is 150% of the current poverty level as set by the federal poverty level. Must be primary residence. We typically ask for our photo ID, or I should say the help agency would ask for photo ID just to make sure that the person that's applying lives at that address. We do confirm that the account has been active for at least 3 months. It's in good standing. It's established payment history and no delinquencies or disconnects. One thing about our program is it's really more tailored to provide the assistance based on income, not based on are you in a past due situation or in a disconnect situation, and then looking for help. This is more of providing the assistance up front, and you'll see in the next slide, or you'll see in the next couple slides, that it's a little more of a set amount credit to help them on their monthly bill, and it's applied. It's not a one-time credit. So the last one is proof of residency, may be required if there's additional household members, and that's really if we're getting into there's some type of past history on that at that location that we may need to dig into. Next slide, please. So this process is pretty straightforward but like I said, kind of complex, because Texas Water Utilities, we based on the prior year, we project how much funding each of the partner agencies will need for this coming year. We will send that check at the beginning of the year. The partner agency will track the applicants by quarter, and each at the beginning of the following quarter, they'll send us a list of those account numbers, the account name, and the total amount. And the partner will then send us that list and a check back to us for that quarter's amount. We'll apply the credits, but we're applying backwards at that point. So for January, February, and March, we would apply those in April if we got the list and the check. And then at the end of the year, we reconcile the funds, and we also, any administrative costs are paid as well. Each of the contracts are a little different, but in some cases we pay the agency a fee to write that check back to us each quarter. Next slide, please. So for elderly assist, it's a little different for elderly assist water, because about 4 or 5 years ago, we were able to go through the legislative process and get that into our tariff. So that program we are able to administer on our own. So it's a lot more streamlined. Once we determine eligibility, we actually apply that credit directly to your account, and we do that, monthly. There's no like backwards looking, so to speak, as far as applying the credit to 3 prior months. We set you up. Typically, when you move in, we'll set that up, and then it'll go smoothly going forward. Unfortunately, we got the elderly assist for the water in our tariff, but not for the sewer. So now, for the elderly assist sewer, it has to follow the water assist process again, with just the requirements are all the same, except it's for customers that are 65 or older. And like I mentioned, for the water, we apply the credit to the account immediately. For the sewer, it follows the water assist program process. Next slide, please. So the final program, and I'll be honest, we really don't get a lot of participation in this one, but it's considered a water assist catastrophic program, so must be active customer at the time of the event. The applicant is customer record, and there's we ask for an explanation of the event. What's the reason for the assistance? And we do this, we limit it to one time every 12-month period. We look at payment history and we look at length of time with the company. But in this program, we will essentially approve, anything unless something stands out to the contrary. Next slide. So the benefits currently for our assistance programs are, for water, you will get a $20 account credit monthly. Sewer, if you're sewer only, it would be $20. If you have water and sewer with us, of course, it's a $40 credit monthly going forward. And then for the catastrophic program, it's a one-time credit of $100. That is a little more, it's got a little more, we look at each case. Like I said, we don't get many applicants, but we will increase that amount depending on what the event was and what the impact was to the customer. Next slide. And so, looking at our program, and this is just to give you a little bit of an idea of kind of how we're spread out. We're kind of in 3 parts of the state. So the program challenges we have are, number one, it's self-administered versus third party. There's a lot more administrative costs. As you saw earlier, we're essentially paying the sending money to the partner agency to then write us a check to send some of that money back every quarter, depending on the applicants. There's also posting delays because, again, you've got that back and forth. And, I'll just be honest, for some of our partner agencies, there's not a lot of participation. So this is not a high priority. And if there's changeover, we've seen where we may not get that list or that check for a couple months after the quarter end. And the third one is, right now, it's a quarterly program. And our customers, I think, would really like to see that go to monthly, which we're able to do on the elderly assist because it's in our tariff. We're trying to look at our process and see how can we effectively get to monthly, but then that also could increase the administrative costs related to the program. The next one I mentioned is we have multiple tariffs. So what that means is that it's harder to get the language in each of our tariffs, because it's the timing of rate cases, et cetera, to maximize our programs. And so it's just a challenge to try to manage each of the different tariffs and get the correct language in each one to improve our programs. The service territory coverage, as I mentioned, we have limited partners that we can partner with in the areas just because of how spread out it is across the state. The other piece that we continue to to look at to see how can we better effectively message the program to try to increase participation. And then lastly, we hear from some customers that there's a stigma of income-driven programs. So, is there something that we can change within our program that would the wording or how we name it, but something that might help overcome that stigma? Next slide, please. And then lastly, I just wanted to talk briefly about, we are trying to improve our programs to increase participation rate. One of the things we recently did, which it was reflected on the requirement slide, is our program was using 125% of the poverty level. We recently increased that to 150% of the poverty level. And I think that puts us in line with LIHEAP and some of the other utility programs that are out there. The other thing we are internally trying to determine is what's the best way to determine the credit. Should we go with flat amount, which what we're using today? And if so, then increase that amount possibly. But again, our challenges are we can make certain changes to our water assist program, but we couldn't change our elderly assist water since it's in the tariff without getting a tariff change approval through the commission. Or do we go to a percentage of average base fee for water and or sewer, just to that way as rates increase, the water assist credit amounts would increase at the same time, versus now that amount's only going to change if we review it and we come to a determination to change it. And again, we struggle with how to increase participation. Is there anything else we can do through messaging? And then long term, through legislative actions, can we move to get all of our programs self-administered? That way we can reduce the administrative costs and also get to that monthly credit that's applied automatically going forward. And Corrine, I think that's it for me.
Great. Thank you so much. We are now going to move into questions. So you can ask question one of two ways. You can either use the raise hand button, and I can call on you to unmute your microphone and ask your question, or if you want to put your question in the chat box, you can do that and I can read them out loud. So does anyone have any questions? I do have one question. So kind of for all the speakers, if there's an organization that's kind of in the early stages of wanting to establish a program and kind of like target these like water affordability challenges, what advice would you give them in those early stages of kind of setting up a program?
Well, Corrine, this is Dean. I think the first thing is truly understanding what you're trying to accomplish. I'll be honest with you, that's something that I've asked internally, just so that I'm on the same page with my upper management. But I would also say that this webinar today, in preparing for it, and we had a dry run about a month ago, and it really got me thinking. The difference between water assist, which is kind of what we call our program, but water assistance or water bill assistance versus water affordability is two different things. And I really think this webinar and preparing for it has made me start to think about that more, about what are we really trying to accomplish as a water utility. And I think we would agree it is to help with water affordability. And with that said, then providing a base credit may not be the best answer. Now, maybe that's the first step in a path to water affordability, but it's definitely made me start to think about that in a different light.
Corinne, this is Medrick. I was going to add on to that question. I would say if you're a new city or organization looking to set up a customer assistance program, you would need to identify your target audience, determine who needs the assistance for the program, and look out into the community to secure partners. Determine the financial structure, because in order for the program to function properly, you do need the funding available. You need to look at any legal or liability issues that you may incur, and definitely train your staff on how to conduct the program. And public outreach is very essential in getting your program up and running, because you do want to communicate with the community, because you do need those customers to have the program function. And also look into evaluating to see if there are any areas of improvement once you've actually implemented your program.
Great, thank you. It's really helpful information. We do have a question in the chat from William Rosales. Has there been any discussion about at what point do assistance programs start to do more harm than good? It seems that some customers get into a hole and then become reliant on that assistance going forward and can never recover. Maybe a tough question. I don't know if anyone has any ideas.
I think it's a good question, and I'm in the sense of kind of just assessing. I think there's a tendency, once assistance programs are developed, to sort of try to say, oh, that worked well in this place. Let's see if we can replicate it. And I think, per what Dean just shared, getting really specific as to what is going to best support your specific community needs, I think, is really important. And starting there, looking at community demographics, looking at really honing in to support the residents who need the support the most, and what's really required there. So I think, from what I shared in my presentation, which I think resonates potentially with this question, is, assistance programs are sort of one piece to the overarching affordability puzzle. And so thinking about not just the cost of water, but the cost of all essential needs, how water fits into that, what are other resources available, and taking a more holistic approach to supporting residents who are struggling to pay for essential needs, is kind of the direction that we take at the Alliance. So I'm not sure if the framing of doing more harm than good is how I would approach it. I would more so approach it of like, how does assistance fit into our overarching approach to ensuring that all residents have access to high quality water and can afford to pay their bills?
Great, thank you for that response. Yeah, it's definitely one part of the puzzle, tackling a much larger issue. Are there any other questions before we move on? Okay, if there's no more questions, we can wrap up a little early. I'm gonna put a survey link in the chat so you can provide us with your honest feedback on this webinar. The link is also on the screen. Responses are very much appreciated, and they really help us improve our future webinars. As I mentioned, so resources related to today's presentation and other water quality and water supply topics can be found on our Water for North Texas online library. So on there we have reports, podcasts, toolkits, and more to support your water resources goals. So that link is on the screen. I would really encourage you to check that website out. Lots of great resources. Like I mentioned, I will email the link to today's slides to all those who submitted an RSVP. And I will also be sharing that recording from this webinar once it is available. If you didn't RSVP and you would like to receive those emails, again, my email is there on the screen and it is also in the chat. So thank you again to everyone for joining us today. And many thanks to our speakers, Erica DePalma, Corey Burns, Medria Brauhau, and Dean Van Horn for taking the time to share this information with us today. This webinar is now over. Have a great day, everyone.